At our prayer gatherings the last few weeks, we've been walking through stories Luke tells us about Jesus and those near him. In my personal time sitting with Luke's gospel, I'm attempting to look beyond the words that are on the pages to consider what may have been happening around the story that might give insight to how I understand even my own story and our stories. This morning we looked at the centurion who had a servant who was ill in Luke 7 and asked the elders to go find Jesus and ask him to heal the servant. As I sat there praying over the near me, not near Jesus cards, Jesus seemed to show me something I hadn't seen prior. And that was that in praying, God used people not originally in the story until requested to bring Jesus into the story of the centurion and the servant. I began to pray over each of the cards that we would have people that would be go-betweens for us, and the one that we are praying over, especially when we may not be geographically present and able to be with one like we can when we are near them. So after praying, I went to Chick-fil-A to eat breakfast while reading. After reading, I took Lola for a walk. As I was walking, I went by a house that, as I came up on it, I saw a woman and two men on the front porch. She was sitting and they were standing. They look like people look like when death has hit the family. As I walked past them, I thought I should ask if that were the case, but not wanting to, I continued to walk. The more steps I took, it's as if God continued to say to me, you need to go back and ask them if death has come on their family and if you can pray for them. You gotta understand, this pushes against my personality, but I've been reading and studying and praying that my personality would give way to the promptings of the Holy Spirit when my personality gets in the way of that. So eventually I cut my walk short and turned back around and told God, if they're still there, I will ask. As I was walking up with Lola, sure enough, they were there. So as I got there, I stopped at the sidewalk in front of their home as they were there. And I said, I feel like God has told me I need to stop and ask if death has come on your family. They said yes. And I asked if it'd be okay if I came closer and maybe even pray with them. They said yes. We exchanged names, Kate, Justin, and Dawson. The death wasn't biological family, rather it was Kate's best friend's husband who died by suicide last night. I prayed over them, assured them I would continue to pray, and began to walk back home. I share this just to say, if God prompts you, I encourage you to allow the Holy Spirit to lead you, even if it's outside your personality, because you might be, in fact, you probably are, in that moment, like the elders that weren't originally in the story. But the centurion asked if they would go and reach out to Jesus and ask him to heal. You could be a tool of the healing power of God in the life of another by being obedient to the prompting of the Holy Spirit.